What's up? It's your boy DC the Cool back in another video. Today's topic is actually Superman, the guide to making the Ultimate Superman game. How a Superman game could work. I've had this idea in my head for a long time, many years now, and I've went back and forth with friends about this. And one particular friend, he's on the opposite side of the spectrum, whatever. And we actually just recently had this conversation. So I said, you know what? Let me make a video on this topic and let me see what you guys think. Let me see if people agree with my assessment or not. Now, there's only one drawback, one flaw with this idea that I have, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So, Superman, how do you do it? Now, you have to depower him. Now, a lot of people might say, oh, that's not a Superman game. As my buddy says, that doesn't work. But there have been many games, many examples of where there's an OP character who gets depowered, and the point of the game is for them to get the powers back and to get those like back. I.e. God of War 2, where you start the game as a god, all fully strong, running through people, so on and so forth. You get betrayed, you lose your godhood, and the point of the game is to get your revenge and get your godhood back, right? So it can work. So you will play a mission or two early in the game, where you have all those powers. Maybe you're fighting, I don't know, one of these crazy enemies or supernatural villains or whatever, right? Maybe he's beating up Solomon Grundy or something, I don't know, or Bizarro or something at the beginning of the game, right? And then you get a taste of his power, right? Then he gets depowered. And how you get him depowered? You do one or two things. A, kryptonite poisoning, or B, a kryptonite bullet. Maybe it could be Lex Luthor who does it. Maybe it could be Lobo, who was hired to do it, right? And he doesn't die, but it's in so deep and it's entering his cells. Maybe it's getting closer and closer. The bullet is wedging closer and closer, breaking through his heart, his body, because he's weak to kryptonite. It's slowly seeping through his body. It's getting closer and closer to his heart. Or if it's poison, it's seeping through his cells more and more. It's making him sicker and sicker. So over the course of time of the game, maybe there could be some surgeon in the game, or maybe it could be someone in the world who has the ability to has mastery of surgery, like Doctor Strange or something like that. And over the course of the game, that's Marvel, but there's somebody in the DC universe who's a master surgeon. I don't know who that is, but they have a character for everything in this universe. Or you can make up an original character. I really don't care. Not the point. Anyway, so over the course of the game, you get more and more bullet fragments out, right? Because at first maybe they can't do it. So you have to play that way for a little bit. Because in real life, as an example, sometimes when there's a bullet in you, or something that's inside of you or whatever, sometimes they have to let it stay there and kind of make it work its way out, because they actually can do more damage trying to go in and get it out than they just let it stay, right? So that can work with this concept too. So what you do is, over the course of time, this surgeon, he's able to get more and more bullet fragments out, right? Or if you want to go with the poison scenario, he's able to cleanse his cells a little bit at a time, whatever the case may be, right? And he has less and less kryptonite poisoning over time, right? So every time he gets this procedure or something done, he unlocks more and more abilities. So he's able to do more and more, get more and more of his powers back as the game progresses. That way you can have a skill tree, you can start advancing and actually start, unlocking things in the game over the course of time, how games work. That's how you depower him and make him so he ain't just run through walls, just ice breath and everything and break the wall. Or that's a game logic way. See, the thing about it is, there's game logic and there's lore logic. See, the thing about it is, my friend, he's like, well, that's not a Superman game. People want to play with his powers. People want to be Superman, so on and so forth. And I understand that. But here's the thing. There is game logic and there is lore logic. And I'll give you an example to prove my point. Lore logic, or the canon, for you internet geeks, right? Krillin, which is the Z version of Krillin, cannot beat, touch, or hurt, any way, shape, form, or fashion, Majin Buu. And since we saw this in the anime, we'll just use Super Buu. Krillin cannot touch Super Buu, okay? He got one shot, there's nothing he can do about him, right? It's a wrap. That's lore logic. Game logic in a Sparking Zero, in a Xenoverse, in a Legends, whatever. If the person who's playing Krillin has more skill than the person playing Majin Buu, he can beat Majin Buu. And he can beat him badly if the skill gap is big enough. Right? So you have to apply game logic, not lore logic, for it to work. right? So that's what a lot of people misunderstand. You have to apply game logic. Game logic, there are things that are going to happen that really couldn't happen in the lore or in the canonical version of the series, right? But you can't make it one-to-one with the lore, right? And expect it to work in the game. Now when it comes to a character who's super powered like Superman, Batman can get away with that because there's realistic obstacles a man can, a regular man, even a smart man with gadgets, can't get through. So it makes sense. He can't just knock down walls. He has his gameplay is perfect to accommodate Batman, but he has obstacles too. But for a guy who's limitless, he's the limit. Goku's the limit breaker. Goku's the limit breaker. Superman is limitless. That's the point of his character. He's the strongest he needs to be per the writers. So this is how you get around that. So what they need to do is apply game logic and let Superman be weakened, depowered, and that's how you get through it. Because the only other alternative, as far as a video game goes, for it to work, it's a boss rush game. You just go from room to room, area to area, arena to arena, and you're fighting his supernatural villains or DC supernatural villains, and you're just taking them down. And you use your different abilities because each enemy is weak to a specific ability, right? Demon Souls, the Superman edition. I'm not trying to play that. I don't want to play that. I want a story. I want set pieces. I want Easter eggs. I want Batman Arkham with Superman. Okay? I want Spider-Man with Superman. Open world, story driven, a bunch of people in the universe. That's what I want. And I think that's what most people want. A boss rush game, yeah, that could be cool. I'll take it over get nothing. But I want a story-driven Superman game. I want an open-world playground with Superman. And the more you unlock, the more areas you unlock, like Spider-Man, right? As you progress and get stronger, other areas unlock. Other parts of the city unlock, same thing. Other bosses become unlocked. Other, things you couldn't do before, now that you got your powers back, become unlocked. This is how you do it. So, the Superman game can be done, but you have to depower him to get the kind of game that we all want. There's no other way around it. I know people don't want to hear that. I know people want to find a way for it to work with all his powers. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. I'm sorry. Because you have to also have fodder. So you have to have people between when you get to the bosses to fight. Right? So here's the thing. My idea is Brainiac. And in the middle people, the fodder can be his little robots he fight and beat them up. Right? Until you get to him at the end of the game, whatever. And of course, to be middle tier enemies between then or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But Bran be the big bad. But the problem with my idea, my concept is, like I told you earlier, there's one issue with this. There's one issue. I can't see a reason or how you could do a sequel. It'd be a one and done. Because you can't do the poison route twice, 2-3 different games, unless you try to stretch it out for 3 different games. But I think people will get fed up by that time. So that's my idea. That's what I think. Tell me if you guys agree, disagree. Let me know. Like, subscribe. Next video. Catch you guys later. Peace out.